Alright folks, my name is Freyn and welcome to the T18E2 armoured car. It's also sometimes known as the Boarhound. This is a new event vehicle from the current Chronicles events that's going on. It's in the American tree at 3.0 and yeah, this first game will teach you one thing, which is do not drive it in the snow. Normally I'm aware of this as a downside for armoured cars. They typically, with the exception of maybe the pack wagon, they don't perform very well in an off-road environment, especially in snow or mud. But this was my first game after unlocking it, and I was streaming and I said I want to go drive that thing, you know, I'm gonna take it out. And so after an hour and a half of trudging through Stalingrad unlocking it, the game was kind enough to give me Stalingrad, yeah. So I took it out anyway, you know, eager to play it. But I think just talking over this has already shown you how slowly it goes in the snow, so we'll skip forwards towards some actual combat here. Now, again, like with most armoured cars, you want to avoid hills. It's not great at the hill climbing. You can see it's got the ready rack system going on. Currently it's mostly on tier 5 and 6s that the ready rack exists, but by the looks of this it means any new vehicles will automatically come with it, and they'll continue rolling it out onto lower tier vehicles each patch. But we've finally trudged forwards into a position where I'm starting to get near to an enemy. There's a KB1 over there who's on fire, so peek out, take a shot, straight through the front plate there. He was, you know, fully flat on, there was no angling, but went through and killed him. It's a dead T-34. Now, this is a 57mm gun. It's roughly the same penetration as the AEC armoured car for the British tree, or the Churchill 3 if you want a Tech-Tree equivalent. But it does get an APHE round as well, which is the main one I'm firing. Slightly less penetration than the solid AP round. I believe it's 129 on the AP and 111 on the APHE. It's not got a massive amount of filler, but it is enough to make a noticeable difference. Now, if you look at the damage model down there, you can see the transmission is absolutely huge. I got shot in the engine there, so I can't move. Time to pop some smoke, of which you get a reasonable amount, and they pop individually, so you're not going to be creating a massive smoke screen, but you can keep it going for quite a while. It also comes with the scouting ability, which is always handy. It's allowed me to mark up that T-34 that shot me there. He stayed on the map for a good 30 seconds, letting me know that he wasn't making a push. So while the smoke's up, move towards this rubble, knock out the Stug 3G there with one shell to the driver's port. It's a nice quick firing gun with I think 4 seconds reload on an ace crew, and yeah, good penetration, good velocity. There's nothing to complain about with the gun. But let's skip forward again. There's only one more kill in this game. That's this other Stug over here. Just see him backing out. Make use of my standard armoured car reverse speed, which is actually pretty reasonable, better than anything else that the Americans have got at this BR. That's always nice to have. Steering is the front 2 axles, unlike the Puma or Pack Wagon, which have the front and rear ones, so it doesn't have quite as wide of a turning circle. And yeah, like all armoured cars, it's a bit awkward when you want to turn around and you have to do these 3-point turns. But that's all for this game. Let's move on to the second. So we're on to Kuban, a map I haven't seen a massive amount of lately, given that it's now restricted to the lower tiers only. It's 3.7 in this battle. The previous one was 4.0. And although this is still hilly, rough terrain, it's certainly not concrete mobility. You can already see the improvement in how mobile it is here. It's going at least twice as fast as it was trying to leave the spawn on the snowy ground of Stalingrad. But we're pushing up, and there's a Chaffee on my left here. He hasn't noticed me, so we'll plant one into the side of his turret, disable him. If you look at the kill cam, you can see it actually took out the driver as well. The shell only has 40 grams equivalent of TNT filler, I believe, but still apparently quite a kick, so definitely worth firing over the solid AP round in my opinion. I also lost my transmission to an artillery splash. You will lose your transmission quite often with this. Fortunately, it doesn't have hull break though, so an artillery splash is not a complete death sentence. If it hits you directly, you're still going to go down, but it's, yeah, definitely nowhere near as vulnerable as the rest of the armoured cars are. It's 50mm is its thickest amount of armour, 30mm, or I think 31.8 to be precise, are the sides and the bulk of the front, so still not enough armour to really save you, but enough to not give it hull break. There's a lot of artillery falling. I've got a lot of teammates around me. Wasn't quite sure initially which way to push, as I don't want to get too close to their spawn in case I appear on the map, but we'll push around this way. It also saves me having to do that 3-point turn to get facing the other direction. Just a quick check on the left, make sure nothing's coming. Let's loop around. Went to the side of a T-34. He didn't have much left, his turret was already out, but still took out his front hull crew. Again, 40 grams is surprisingly effective. It's definitely below the average tank mobility. Armoured cars are not quick around in War Thunder, unfortunately. But it is definitely nice to have that reverse gear. Shame it doesn't come with more hill climbing ability. It's 8-wheel drive, but this is struggling a lot with this hill. It's got an 80km top speed. I would doubt you'll ever actually reach it. And flanking this Puma here, I'm certainly not expecting sort of a rapid rush while he's on reload. Fortunately, he hasn't seen me. Pushed over to try and get my teammates there, and I got a shot into his back. Teammates have dropped artillery though, so it's best to vacate the area before that makes a mess of me. Certainly not packing a massive amount of roof armour, so yeah, don't expect to be surviving a direct hit from above. And you're probably quite vulnerable to planes as well. But we'll move on. The enemy is capturing the A point, so heading down that way. Trying to keep my eye around off to the sides, make sure I don't get attacked by a returning anti-aircraft gun. As said, the armour is reasonable for an armoured car, but it's not going to protect you against any of those German HVAP rounds. Just seeing a tank driving over there. Keep seeing little glimpses of him. He's obviously headed back up to B. There we go. Scout him just in case. And one into the side. That's another T-34 down. I'm really, really liking this gun. I get on quite well with the 6-pounder on the British vehicles, but that additional filler is it's noticeable. I'm going to avoid going on the cap here. Again, I don't really fancy losing my transmission to artillery. Not that I managed to retain it anyway. This Panzer IV F2 there got a shot, took out my engine. Assuming he hit sort of my lower rear side, as he didn't really damage any of the crew. Fortunately, it's not a tremendously long repair time. So we'll just sit here. I don't really have much choice. I'm not going to pop smoke. Don't want to draw unnecessary attention. And then we'll head on down and try and get a bit of cover. Maybe see if I can intercept anything headed back from C. They're behind on tickets, they don't have the cap control, they need to come to us, so if I can evade a plane, as said, I'm a little concerned about those, then we should be alright here. I can sit, take a defensive position, wait for them. Thankfully not trying to strafe me that time. There's another one coming in. Just always trying to keep my wits about me. Keep an eye out. Sort of scan the horizons. Just saw that tank as he fired. But tagged him up, and the Crusader took him out. I really do love having the scouting feature on these vehicles. Anytime lately that I'm playing one which doesn't have scouting, I find myself missing it and sort of just really wanting to mark up and go, hey, there's a tank over there. Someone shoot it, I can't. Yeah, it's such a nice feature to have. I'm glad it's not on every tank. I think it would be bad for the game if it was. But I do enjoy getting some use out of it. Still, there's not much happening for a while here. I'm just taking cover under the bridge, trying to reduce the amount of planes that hit me. Not quite as effective as I'd hoped, but thankfully he had to come a bit too low to get those shots. Clipped his wing. We'll skip forwards, and I've just about decided that our team has thrown themselves at the northern spawn a little too much. We're running out of players up there. I need to start heading back up, make sure we can cover that. Still nothing come from C, so I'm thinking there's not going to be much coming this way at all. They're starting to cap A. It would be a good idea to go and defend that. Now it's an anti-aircraft gun. Has me a little bit panicked, knowing this is 3.7, it could be a whirlwind, and that would be an extremely dangerous target. There's also pack wagon there, a little too fast for his own good, I think. I do that quite often myself. Yeah, you come flying around a corner and then sudden regret as you see a tank there. There's the anti-aircraft. It's a little flak truck. Massive amount of spalling off his gun shield. I didn't expect that to be a one-shot, but it more than dealt with him. We've got other people coming in for the A-cap. I'm expecting a lot of artillery again, and I don't want to be a part of that, so we'll back off. Got good reverse gear, and there's two players who've never died yet. So, given the sort of control we've got on the rest of the map, I'm assuming they're both down towards a C point. There's something marked up just north of me, so back around I go. T-34. Again, pretty easy kill in the side with this gun. Frontally, I've not really encountered enough head-on to know if the gun will go through the upper plate. I don't think it will. I would probably aim for the turret ring as a priority anyway. But from the side, it's got absolutely no issues with the T-34. Well, A point is defended again. We're getting C. Everyone on their team now has died at least once. The other was the Marder that was just up ahead. I can see there's something over towards A. I don't have a shot on it, but he's dead anyway, the Panzer 3J1. And this game's pretty much wrapped up. Just time for one more kill. Here comes the whirlwind, the beast of armoured car nightmares. So, fall into his breach, make sure he can't turn that on me, and then we'll finish him off. But that, I believe, is kill number 10, and pretty much the end of the game. I'm not going to say this is a typical game for the armoured car. I mean, it's actually a little better than I was expecting, given how heavy it is and how yeah, how bad armoured cars perform on rough ground. It has been better than I was expecting. I'm certainly glad it doesn't have hull brake. But no, I wouldn't call this what I expect to be a typical game. Just a bit lucky. But that's all for today. Nice preview of the armoured car for anyone who's grinding it. So, as usual, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.